there folks, welcome back to another video, and today we're taking a look at the Marvel Legends Astonishing X-Men Wolverine. You get a good look at the side right there, good look at the back. I didn't pay the $40, it was a buy one get one half off at FYE, so I ended up just getting this for basically retail. But yeah, you can see all your little legal information celebrating 85 years of Marvel. Very cool. So let's go ahead and get into it. Alright, here's the figure out of the packaging, and you can see this dude can get himself in a pretty nice lunging pose. There is one issue with it, but we'll get into that. But overall, I think this dude's pretty stellar. I think he's got a few issues for the most part, but I think this is a really good example of what Marvel Legends can be, what Marvel Legends should be. He's a little bit locked up right now because I did have him sitting in the garage. Got quite a few figures in there and it's cold out. It's not the greatest thing to be doing, but yeah. But this dude looks pretty cool. Marvel Legends Hasbro has done something pretty cool with this that they're starting to do a lot more now, more and more and more. Really since they started separating the hair from the head sculpts, that's kind of really when they started doing this, where they're basically a color that is, if there's two tones on the figure, as much as they can, they'll try to make the second color sculpted or molded in that color. For an example, these blue cuffs on his wrist, those are molded in blue. They just slipped right over the top of the forearms. Now, I'd imagine that was done strategically. That way you can use these arms with different variations of Wolverine's gloves, something like that. Whichever. It still makes it look really nice, so you don't have to worry about skin tone being painted on blue or blue being painted on skin tone, etc., etc. So, yeah. There's no boot swivel, but these are two separate pieces, so that's another example of that. And they did it a little bit differently this time with the head, where instead of the head being molded in yellow and then, you know, essentially everything else being painted, they molded the front or the back in yellow, and then the whole faceplate is molded in black, and they just painted the skin onto there. So, yeah. Actually, it doesn't look too bad. It's not a perfect match with the... No, I'd say it's pretty close. In terms of color, I'd say it's pretty close. There's some mess-ups on the paint, unfortunately. It's a little transparent, but as far as the color goes, I think they did a pretty good job. The teeth look really nice. I really like the way that the gums look and stuff. This isn't a great... It's a little blurry here. Like, you can see pixelation at the top, but... yeah, that's not great, but in person, this does look pretty good. The paintwork on the eyes looks really nice. It appears like mine's not pushed in all the way. You can see a little bit of a gap right there. It's a little unfortunate because I really do like this head, but from a distance, he looks pretty good. As far as any paint hiccups other than the face, you know, I mean, like right here, you got a little bit of a blemish. And then, like, there's one right here, but... there's not too much of an issue here, but them trying to mold as much of this into the proper color as possible is really nice. A lot of this blue, yeah, a lot of this blue is just painted, which is okay because it pretty much all matches pretty well, except this has a slightly more of a satin finish than this, which is just matte, which is funny because this is glossier than this. So, I don't know. But, yeah, you can see all the seams and stuff like that, and the crotch wrinkles, and then there's wrinkles up around the neck, and where else did I see wrinkles? Wrinkles all across the back, on the butt. All looks really, 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 really good. This is what I want to see. And if you just seen my video that I did on the all-new, all-different Daredevil, I mean, that's the problem with the Bucky Cat mold. Even though it's a really good... body in terms of its overall aesthetic, its anatomy, it's really nice. The shoulders are probably a little bit bulbous. Maybe you'd want the traps to come down just a little bit more over the top, but, you know, Like, for the most part, it's really nice. It's just too ripped. There's veins in there, which I would rather see wrinkles than veins. It makes it look, this looks way more like a dude in a costume than this does. So that's the problem with that. And this takes care of that nicely. And the, the Juggernaut Wave Wolverine, that the body that they reused for a long time, I think they're still using it when they can, but that has the same problem too, where it's just too defined. And obviously there's some comic book artists that really do a really lean looking suit. But if you ask me, I just want it to look like a costume. And okay, so like if you do like really thin fabric, you do it really ripped, sure, fine, whatever. Just add some wrinkles in there, add some seams or something. Now I know they can't do this for everybody because they need to be able to reuse some stuff, but just make it look like a suit. One of my favorite body molds is the Spider UK body mold. I can't remember who that belonged to first. I think it was Spider UK. But they've pretty much basically retired that figure, and I only have the Spider UK figure, and it didn't really work very well on the shoulders, but as far as its aesthetic, it looked really nice. But yeah, I love the wrinkles. I love the seams on here. Everything looks really nicely. Looks really nice. These look like wrinkles here on the knees. I thought those were like knee pads at first, but no, it looks like they're just wrinkles. They carry down onto the front of the calf, the shin area. You can see the wrinkles on the hips. Looks very nice. You get the swiveling shoulder pads and stuff. The hair is sculpted on the arms, which I'm not a huge fan of, but whatever. At least the printing looks pretty nice. Can't complain there. My claws keep moving, but I do like the shape and the color of them. They're just molded. They're not painted. It doesn't look like they're painted, but they look good enough, I suppose. I like the belt. The belt looks clean and sharp. Very nice there. These spots right there look like they could use a little bit more paint. Yeah, it's a little bit weird. So like with right here, they just painted the blue around the yellow. And then this is molded in yellow. But then they painted yellow on top of the blue that they painted. I don't know why they would do that, but whatever. It's a little bit messy up there. It doesn't really line up as nice as I would like it to. But in terms of like the effort that they put into the body, I think it looks really nice. The arms are a little bit too long. They're just a hair too long, but it is noticeable if you know what you're looking for. And with a character like Wolverine, it's kind of an optical illusion already because he's got the claws. So his claws, when his arms are too long and then he's got the claws and his freaking the tip of his claws go all the way past his knees, then it kind of creates a little bit of a weird look. But yeah. But hey, Hugh Jackman's got long arms and he looks okay, so I guess it's fine. But yeah, it's definitely something that you'll notice. But that's pretty much it on the looks of the figure, I would say. I can't really think of anything else. They did these squares, well enough. They could be a little bit better, but the wrinkles on the boots carry through. The actual shape of the boots, they look good. They don't look too bad at all. As far as your other accessories go, you do get 6 sets of six sets. You get 3 sets of hands in total. You get sorry about the dry hands, ladies and gents. Believe me, I do put lotion on, but I got some of that eczema, so I get really bad dry hands. But as far as your fists or your hands go, you get a set of fist hands. Really nice detail in there. You got the wrinkles, got the seams, got the painted little notches on there. Looks really good. Then your other set of hands is a asymmetrical set. You get an open action hand, which is pretty cool. Then you get a pointing hand, which I don't know why Wolverine really need a pointing hand. He doesn't really lead the X-Men, and then I don't really know what else you'd use this for, but I do think that this is relevant to something similar to when they gave Bullseye the finger gun. That is relevant to something, so I would believe that this is relevant to something since they gave it to him, but it's kind of a cool accessory. But Wolverine isn't a leader too often, so And that's kind of what I would expect, like Captain America or Cyclops to have a pointing hand. But to each his own. We get another head sculpt, of course. This is actually the one that comes packed in the box on the figure. And it's pretty good. I like it for the most part. I like that the hair and the head sculpt are separate, and it's not just the hair, it's the sideburns too, the chops. They're all one piece, which is pretty cool. And yeah, the only thing that I would say is it kind of looks like a flat top here. It's very similar to the way Hugh Jackman's hair looks in the future parts of Days of Future Past. It just looks kind of like flat. I would like to see a little bit more of a peak right here. But, you know, I guess that depends on if this is accurate to the comic that it's from or not. But yeah, I don't know, it looks pretty good. I think this head sculpt is a lot cleaner. You know, obviously they have the benefit of not painting a skin tone onto a black surface, but it looks pretty sharp. I definitely like that a lot. I would definitely not mind replacing this with the current comic Wolverine that I have. I have the only other comic Wolverine I have is the retro vintage brown suit Wolverine, and that figure's a mess. I took it apart years ago, but I'm in the current process of putting it back together, so, you know, if I ever feel froggy, I just might put this head on that figure. But anyway, that's pretty much it in terms of the accessories. Let's go ahead and pop the other. Well, first of all, let's do the articulation with this head. So it is a double ball peg. Jesus, that goes all the way down there. Yeah, so I don't know. You get some nice attitude, so that's good. Your head goes up that far. Not great. He's basically looking forward. His head goes down just a little bit, but he still kind of just looks like he's looking forward. Of course, you get rotation and stuff. As far as the other head goes, your head looks up that far, a little bit better, and his head goes down. Not really much. It doesn't even look like he's looking down, but whatever. That's not great. I don't appreciate Wolverine not being able to get into a good, so if he's doing like a deep crouch, you want him to be able to look up or whatever, or a lunging pose. But yeah, that's not really great. You get butterfly joints that come in pretty nicely. Go back. Yeah, you're kind of pushing it there, but yeah, you can get it to go back. Rotation, your shoulder pad can move with it. The arms can go up. Oof, that's some pretty severe paint rub. Not cool. But your arms can go up, I'd say about horizontally. You get a thigh swivel, a bicep swivel. Those are some big ass arms. Double jointed elbows. You got the pinless tech right there. All the hands have a horizontal hinge as opposed to a vertical one. But yeah, you know, swivel and a hinge. You get the upside down ab crunch and the diaphragm joint. So with those combined, you can go back that far. You can go forward. It runs into the belt a little bit, but you can go forward that far. Not too bad. Obviously, you get some rotation up there. Very cool. The belt is free floating. The hips will move out. Whoa! Holy smokes. The hips are, that's essentially a full split. You can't like get them flat on the ground, but that's essentially a full split. That's great. And there's no drop down or anything, so I guess if you watch Anthony's Customs, then I guess he's right. But you have to straighten the leg out if you want it to go straight out, but it can go just, not quite horizontally. It's a little bit less than horizontal, but it's good enough for Wolverine in my opinion. You can go back just a little bit. Thigh swivel. Double jointed knees. It doesn't look too bad at all. Again, no calf swivel, which I'm not somebody who really cares about that, but your ankles move down that far, but it's going to warp that a little bit. Goes up this far. And then you get your ankle pivot. So, yes, the articulation is very nice on this dude. I think overall he looks really sharp. I'm a fan, I will say that. I'm also a fan of this costume. I know a lot of people love the Browns, or the, well, yeah, they love the brown suit, but the tiger stripe suit a lot. But I've always been a pretty big fan of this suit. I mean, this is essentially what Wolverine was wearing the entire time that I was a child. I mean, outside of the movies. But, yeah, so, I mean, I'd see Scott Johnson's artwork of this suit a lot. So I've always been pretty partial. I mean, the first Lego Wolverine figure was wearing this suit, so yeah, I'd say it's pretty good. But let's go ahead and slide over to some size comparisons, and then we'll wrap this guy up. All right, for the first size comparison on the left here, we have my custom X-Men Origins Wolverine, the Hugh Jackman version, of course. And then on the right, we have the Juggernaut Wave Deadpool figure, which is actually the very first figure that I reviewed on my Michael's Customs and Comics channel, which is now my second channel, but it was my first channel. But yeah, don't go watch that video. Don't do it at all. For another size comparison, here he is compared to the Marvel Legends Toy Biz Bullseye on the left and the Toy Biz Face Off Cap on the right. These guys are all a little bit closer in scale than you probably want, but it's still not too bad for your Toy Biz figures, because I believe that Toy Biz gave Wolverine a body very similar to this a few times. So yeah, it's still shorter, works well enough. Here he is compared to the Marvel Legends Modular Iron Man on the right, and the Renew Your Vows Marvel Legends Spider-Man with the Walmart exclusive animated series head on the left. This body is also shared by Daredevil and stuff like that. I think Deadpool also has it. One Deadpool figure, maybe two. I can't remember for sure, but yeah, so there it is right there. And for your last size comparison, here he is compared to the the Mafex Spider-Man 185 and the Mafex Daredevil on the right. So yeah, I think this guy works in pretty well with these guys. So yeah, closing thoughts. I think this dude is pretty cool. Some of the paintwork isn't very clean on it, but I think it has a lot of potential if you're somebody who's willing to spruce it up. But even as is, it's pretty good. It works out well enough for everything else that's in the collection in terms of Marvel Legends figures. So yeah, I'm very, very happy with it. I think it's one of their better figures, and it's nice to see them step it up in terms of sculpt and detail work. So yeah, that's pretty much it. If you guys liked the video, hit the subscribe button, notification bell, like all that weird shit. And of course, until next time, true believers.